Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to another premiere draft of MTG Foundations. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one. An incredibly weak pack. I honestly don't even think Overrun's really worth the first pick, but these other options are really not that strong either. There's a Dauntless Veteran, an Overrun, or just these one-drop commons like Healer's Hawk or Infestation Sage. None of these are cards I am happy to first pick really at all, but black is my favorite color in the format, so we could lean that way. There's also a pretty big white signal here where the pack is really weak, so it's not like there's any super powerful signal for somebody to jump into a specific color, but most of the viable options there are in white. So if I take like the Healer's Hawk, I'm passing a bunch of other white cards, but if I take Infestation Sage, the only black card I'm passing is Zombify, so that kind of keeps people out of the color. Pick 2 is a much harder pick. This pack is actually pretty powerful. There's Sunblessed Healer, which is a great piece of reanimation. Super, super good deal for 4 mana. There's also Eaten Alive for really efficient removal. It plays well with creatures that are good at getting sacrificed, like Infestation Sage, so there's that too. I think Healer is stronger in a vacuum by a little bit, but removal is really important in this format. It's kind of a back to basics core set style format, so you can go back to that kind of pick order of bombs, removal, and then whatever else you want to call bread. But bombs and removal number one and two. So I think we're fine to take Eaten Alive here, even if Sunblessed Healer is probably a little stronger on average. Eaten Alive is still really important and really good. Pick 3. Now we have Ruby, Daring Tracker for Gruul, Vindicator for Boros, Prideful Parent towards white, but Seeker's Folly and Soul Shackled Zombie are both perfectly fine playables in black. Not a huge fan of the green spells outside of Snakeskin Veil, and the red is just not good. The Crackling Cyclops. Okay, I'm not super happy with this pack either. We're back to being a little unhappy because I think the best cards are the gold cards, and neither of them touch black at all, which is awkward for us. Could still get speculative. I'll just take the Folly. Pick 4. There's another Healer's Hawk here. Felling Blow out of green. Faebloom Trick out of blue. Okay. Okay, these uncommons are actually pretty premium. I think we take one of these too. 3 mana for 2 1/1 flyers and tap a creature at instant speed. This card's a very, very good stat line for the mana cost. Sometimes you get to eat your opponent's 2/1s or 3/1s and still have a flyer left behind. But Felling Blow, obviously, green doesn't get a lot of removal. This buffs a creature and shoots something. Sorcery Speed's a pretty big downside on this card, though. I think I'm going to go for the Faebloom trick here. All right, pick 5. There's a Burglar Rat, which I love in my black decks. It's just a good creature to sacrifice. It gives you a bit of, not card advantage, but puts your opponent at a card disadvantage the second it enters. Kraken's a fine filler top end card, but I think those are uh, plentiful, so I'm just going to grab the Burglar Rat, get the better early game play. Pick 6, another Ruby. So nobody's in Gruul specifically, but I haven't seen a lot of good red really at all. We've seen a little bit of decent green like that Felling Blow recently, but I don't hate not being in Gruul here just because we haven't seen the good red cards. We could take Light Shell Duo. This is pretty good in blue-black because you have some cards that care about how big your graveyard is, some threshold cards, as well as potentially flashback cards you can recast from grave. So I think the Light Shell Duo is a pretty big overperformer. I'm not particularly high on Uncharted Voyage in blue-black, but this is good in most other blue decks. I just think that black is like the best color for removal in the format, so you don't really need the kind of bounce removal that Voyage gives you. I think I'd take Duo over Sanguine Siphoner here. Pick 7, easy Refute. Great counter spell, giving you card selection while you counter their solid play. Pick 8. This pack is garbage for everybody. There's just like a filler creature. A filler creature. We'll take the on-color filler. Ooh, we're about to get past the pack that we opened up, which was also pretty garbage. Think Twice coming all the way back around is not the worst sign ever. I think that was pretty much the only blue card in the pack. There's also the Dauntless Veteran still being here, but there were multiple playable white spells. Kind of funny somebody took a Heir Apparent over Dauntless Veteran. That shows a distaste for that card, I would say. Or somebody's just really trying to get all the rabbits. This pack looks unplayable. It's just rare draft Omniscience. There's no universe in which Omniscience is good because in order to cast it in this format, you have to get to 10 mana. At that point, you can already cast everything easily. Just take all these rubies. No one gets to be Gruul today. Not that it looks like anybody wants to. There's a Fake Your Own Death Forest for an option. That's pretty good if you have a lot of creatures like Burglar Rat with good Enters effects or Death effects like on Infestation Sage. Alright, pack 2, pick 1, open up an on-color rare. I actually don't think this is that strong. Whenever you cast a spell, each opponent reveals till they hit a land and they mill all those cards. I don't think this is that strong. For 5 mana, it's probably not that big when it hits the board. It's pretty easy to kill, doesn't have any trample or anything. If it sticks around a long time, it can get pretty astronomical, but I think you just gotta take the great removal like Bacon to a Pie a little higher. And if we were in Rakdos, like Gormand would be great here. It's still good in blue-black. We do have the Infestation Sage and the Burglar Rat, so that is a pretty high pick. Probably not over Bacon to a Pie here, though. I think my pick order is genuinely Bacon to a Pie number 1, Gormand 2, Aberration 3. Here we get the wonderful Mischievous Mystic. This is also a really good color pair for it because the Signpost uncommon, if we manage to pick it up, draws a card and discards a card every turn, which will trigger it and make those fairy tokens. But even just with like some copies that think twice, this card can be really strong, so we'll want to take those pretty highly. Pick 3, Hungry Ghoul is fine. Aetherize, a little narrow. Sprite, really low toughness, and Kraken, just the filler top end card. We'll take the Hungry Ghoul. Looks like a good spot for a blue-black duel, just some filler 2-mana creatures. Look, all we gotta do is cast our 10-mana Omniscience, and then we can cast Progenitus. Actually the perfect deck. Pick 5. Play around with a Light Shell duo here, that seems fine. I do not think we're going to have a high enough creature count for Revenge of the Rats. I just have never seen a deck where that can actually pop off in this format. It's nowhere near as well supported as like Spider Spawning was in Innistrad. That was just such a self-mill heavy format. Yeah, I'm not going for Revenge of the Rats. We'll just take another duo. That looks fine on our curve. Again, trying to splash Tachiova would also be an option, but I don't love splashing in this set. Pick 6. All the duos ever. If we see this pick again where it's duo versus Soul Caller, we'll probably have to just take Soul Caller at that point. Get a tiny bit of top end, but I really, really don't like that this can't block in a Dimir deck. There's a pick, Fake Your Own Death, Erudite Wizard, Adventuring Dealer, and Time Stop. I think these are all pretty bad, but at least the rare will add to our collection. Worst case scenario. Now a Fake Your Own Death number 2. Gutless Plunderers, good at filling the grave and setting up your draws. The Crypt Feaster will be our first card that actually gets better for Threshold, but I don't think it's a really good one. I just think that Midnight Snack's pretty unplayable. Well, it's actually probably bad enough to just take Bloodfell Caves over it. Speculatively, just in case some random red stuff shows up that we want to try to splash. And let's see how pack number 3 goes. Alright, Niv-Miz, it's really cool, but we don't actually want to splash it because it only triggers when we're dealing non-combat damage to our opponent, which we're not doing in blue-black, so not really splashable. It's not really worth it for the 5/5 flyer. We've got Essence Scatter here, great cheap counterspell, or Vampire Gourmand, great at sacking our Burglar Rat and our Infestation Sage to draw a card. It's also going to trigger our Mischievous Mystic, and we are really looking for more ways to trigger Mystic right now. I think we're probably low enough on ways to actually draw a card during our turn to take this Gourmand and try to help our Mischievous Mystic out a little bit over taking Essence Scatter here. Pick 2. Meteor Golem for the top of the curve here. Not going to play a Turtle or a Feaster. Some really good white spells just got opened up, which is a bummer. Oh, and now some really good black spells. Vampire Nighthawk is going to be castable much more often, and it's really, really good in these decks. Just gives you such a pocket of life gain to give you a lot of breathing room against more aggressive decks, often lets you outrace them, and you can always just block with it if you really need to kill something. Runescarred Demon is very powerful as well, but 7 mana is a ton. I think I just take the Nighthawk here, make sure we've got some better early blockers and stuff. Infernal Vessel plays really well with Gourmand, Hungry Ghoul, and Eaten Alive, but we're low enough in removal that we could definitely use a Bake into a Pie. We have Bake into a Pie, Eaten Alive, Meteor Golem, and Refute. Yeah, I think I have to take Bake into a Pie, copy 2. Pick 5. Skeleton's fine with Gourmand. It's really, really filler any other time. I think I'd rather take Strix Lookout. I like this a little better when we don't have synergy with it. It's going to play better than Reassembling Skeleton. And we also have a 2-card synergy combo. Mischievous Mystic plus Strix Lookout is a really strong combo. So it's giving us all the benefit that like Skeleton plus Gourmand gives us, while also being, I think, a little bit better when we draw it without the Mystic than the Skeleton would be when we draw it without the Gourmand. Pick 6. Sure, we'll take our filler top-end Kraken here. Pick 7, there's a Pilfer. Just rip something good out of our opponent's hand. Pick 8. We have 1 card that's really good with Runaway Together. That's our Burglar Rat. Everything else is pretty mediocre with it. Yeah, I don't think this is a Runaway Together deck. It's probably not a Soul Caller deck either, though. But I'm still taking it. Pick 9, Niv-Mizzet Wield. Well, there's nothing for us, so we might as well grab that. I got 2 red dual lands, didn't I? Oh no, I took something over the last red duel. Crypt Feaster, I guess. Another Crypt Feaster. Not splashing in Balmor. Inspiration from Beyond looks fine here. We are self-milling a lot. That'll be card selection. Definitely better than Time Stop. Okay, just need to cut a few cards before we hop into the gameplay. Deck ended up looking pretty average here. We didn't really get an incredibly powerful reason to be in Dimir. We didn't really get a huge bomb or anything. I think we're on all commons and uncommons. Yeah, we are scrapping today. No rares. So we're going to be at the power level disadvantage for sure in every matchup. We're going to have to make up for it with some tight plays, good curve, lots of interaction. But our deck has the interaction at the ready, and it's got a good curve, so we could still fight here. We could still scrap around. Yeah, I think I'm dropping those, but we'll take one more look. Blight Priest is quite filler in this deck. We're very low on life gain, so it's a 3 mana 3/2. Probably rather put one of those creatures I just cut back in instead. As much as I don't like the fact that the Soul Caller can't block, its enter effect is still very good. So I think I still play it over one of the Crypt Feasters. Could play one Fake Your Own Death, but again, I only have one creature that's really good with that. Yeah, I'll throw in a Soul Caller over a Blight Priest. Double check our mana base. We have 12 black cards, 10 blue. That's pretty close numbers on each. We have some double blue spells like Refute pretty early, some double black spells like Nighthawk and Bake into a Pie pretty early, so I'm cool with the 50-50 split with our Dismal Backwater, helping us out quite a bit. Looks like a solid, scrappy little blue-black deck, so without further ado, let's hop into the gameplay and see how it does. Alright, I'm not super excited about this hand, but we do have the Sage to block for a little bit, a Pilfer to deal with our opponent's scariest early game threat, and then we can refute the next thing. We obviously need to draw some more spells here in between 3 and 7 mana, but that should be easy enough to do, especially when our refute draws and discards a card to help dig for something relevant. Let's see what our opponent's on here with their blue-red deck. They've got a Strongbox Raider, a Burst Lightning, and an Elementalist Adept. Certainly the most concerned about the Raider right now. I don't mind if they Burst Lightning any of my threats. Let's get rid of that Raider. It's going to be pretty easy for them to trigger with a Flying Vigilant Strix Lookout. So they can slam that down, draw another card, and have a really threatening 5/2 body. Let's just hold up refute here, I think. Getting the raid trigger for Gutless Plunder would be requiring us sacrificing the Infestation Sage, which isn't the worst because it pops out a creature when it dies, but when I've got a spell to hold up instead, I'll just do that. I'm under really no pressure here, taking 1 damage a turn. We can hang on to this refute for quite a while. If I want to get really annoying, potentially with 5 mana up next turn, I could go Inspiration from Beyond, and then Pilfer again. There's the Adept, that's fine. Infestation Sage blocks that. Forces them to spend a spell to Prowess. Tempted to refute literally anything they do this turn, and then just Inspiration from Beyond the refute. Bane of Combat, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, they can spend a red to bring this back from the grave to the battlefield. A little awkward to counter because it can potentially come back. If they can double Prowess trigger here, if they have 2 1-mana spells. We're just in a really bad position to get raid triggers for this Plunderer, and it's not an impressive blocker against a flyer, so I'm ditching that. Burglar Rat actually looks really good right now. I can either Burglar Rat them or get really annoying. I think if I Burglar Rat here, I set up to be able to cast Meteor Golem next turn, so if what they cast is like a good creature, and then I just get to Meteor Golem that anyway. So I can set things up this way to where, because I play the tap land this turn, I've got 7 mana up, I Meteor Golem next turn. Try to be ahead at that point. And having the revealed refute in our hand means if they do have a big scary threat, they know that they need to resolve that while I'm tapped out. So they'll jam it out, and then I'll jam out Meteor Golem. And hopefully from then on, it's a bit of a top deck war where we are favored with a flashback spell and a slightly better board. Although the Strix Lookout is still going to make it a competition here to see who draws better. Because I think our board will be a tiny bit better, but their Lookout will make their draws a tiny bit better. Alright, they need specifically Essence Scatter here because they don't have double blue up. Alright, cool. Goodbye, Balmor. What a draw. There's no shot that wasn't the top deck because we had a revealed refute here. So just an incredible draw from our opponent. I guess maybe they didn't activate Strix Lookout last turn. Maybe that was the draw? It'd be super weird. But I guess possible. Alright, well, I guess we lose. 5. 1 mana up, I can't hold up refute. If I don't deal with this Resolved Mystic, though, I'm just dead. Straight up. So we mill trying to find removal and find nothing. Classic. Went for the mill there because we do have an Eaten Alive in our deck that if we top deck, we deal with the Mystic there. We've also got our own Mischievous Mystic, Seeker's Folly, 2 bacon to a pie. We have a lot of really good draws here that can help get us out of this, but it looks like they're going to be too late. This is already almost lethal in the sky. Oh, I would draw them in that order. The think twice first, so the Mystic doesn't trigger this turn. I've already drawn my second card. Mystic is my second card. I can Pilfer Mystic and hold up Refute here. Still get slammed. Oh man. Homunculus Horde with the Lookout as well. This is a nightmare. I can't do anything. Because if I Pilfer the Burst Lightning, I guess I Pilfer the Burst Lightning so they can't burst the Mystic, because if I just Pilfer like the Horde here, they can burst, I refute, they refute, my refute. But if Horde resolves, I'm going to die too. And then they could play Horde and... Well, they don't have the mana up for the refute after casting Horde. Yeah, it's Burst Lightning. I'm still dying really quick. I take 6 damage, 7 damage in the sky here to not lose the Mystic. And they could also just still attack with everybody. Oh, great. And they've got the Buccaneer. Oh my god. Alright, well. Strix Lookout their absolute MVP here. Drawing them so many cards throughout this game and just crafting kind of the perfect hand. This looks pretty unwinnable because we just drew 1 removal spell in the first 24 cards of our deck. Oh, we actually have the Seeker's Folly as well. That would be an insanely good draw. So we actually have like 6 really good removal spell draws. And that's none of them. Not that it matters at this point. Now we're down to 2. Even if I hit the Folly, I just kill all these and take 7 still. 0-1 heading into game 2. Alright, here we are for game 2. We got the Vampire curve out here. Gourmand into Nighthawk. Playing against Rakdos. Got the discard spell 2 for 1, and then some 1 for 1 removal, excuse me. Whatever you're gonna do, go for it. What a surprise. Here's Vampire Nighthawk. And then Burglar Rat, that's pretty annoying. Infestation Sage, and I don't have sack cards. I mean, I've got the Eaten Alive, but I can wait for 5 for that. I'm 1 mana away from my other removal spell anyway. You're gonna Eaten Alive Nighthawk too? Jeez, it's a really good hand. Well, the game, insanely fast, has already turned into a top deck war. They have 2 cards in hand, which are probably 2 creatures, and I have 2 removal spells for those 2 creatures. So we're already exactly even. Until god dang burglar rat. Man. Okay. God, Think Twice would have been so perfect in hand if we had that instead of the Eaten Alive and we just discard a Think Twice to burglar rat. Wow. All right. Well, their hand's way, way better at getting card advantage. Burglar rat into Strongbox Raider. Might be a quick move into game 3 here. I thought Think Twice was good. Okay. That is some competition here. We do have a burglar rat now. Taking 5 for a turn to play it, but this is the last opportunity to guarantee that rat hits something here. Hits a stab. Solid. Okay. They have found the land clump. Bake into a pie, and we are back in the top deck war. Okay. Alright, so they started with the really good plays up front. So they hit their good draws first, but now I'm hitting my good draws, and it is turning around pretty quickly. Oh yeah. The Light Shell duos setting up the draws. Milling a bunch of lands. There's the Billowing Shriek Mass. They already can't block the Light Shell duos because of prowess. Because of the threat of prowess. Good inspiration for a 2-mana spell and immediately cast it. I don't have a 2-mana spell. Let's just send. If they try to block, obviously we can think twice, so they should not be blocking here, and then we'll Feybloom Trick during their turn. Well, let's see what they've got. It's going to be a stab here. Be pretty fine, 1-for-1 trade into the duo. Spend their removal spell on duo. Yep, spend their removal spell on duo, fair enough. They're down to 12. Reassembling Skelly Man doesn't really do anything by itself. I mean, I guess it blocks one duo forever, perpetually. But I'm going to get a flying threat out very soon. Well, a lot of flying threats out very soon. Especially because I could inspiration back the Feybloom trick. It's kind of nasty. Still want to kind of just pick up bake into a pie, though. It's kind of a weird way to do it, but I think I'm getting the burglar rat killed here or jamming for 4. Jamming for 4 it is. Them at 8. Them at 8. I actually think I'm getting the tap spell. over the actual removal, and I'm just tapping Shriek Mass, sending in next turn. You know what? I probably should have just tapped Skeleton again. That would have been more damage. Because then they would have to chump with Shriek Mass to block the Light Shell duo. Just don't attack with the Flyers at all, just the duo there. Here comes a raid card. Well, they are going to 3. Pick up a Meteor Golem with Soul Collar? Yeah, that should line up into lethal here. Alright. If they don't deal 10 to me here, then we kill them off of Meteor Golem. Alright, and they cannot deal 10, so we are 1-1 heading into game 3. Alright, we got the Gormond Burglar Rat combo here. That'll be pretty nice. We lead with the Gormond to get rid of its summoning sickness, then play and sack the rat. No Burst Lightning in the opener. That's definitely good for us. Alright, let's see if they have a Braid in the opener. Don't play the land yet because we could draw into the tapped blue-black land. If they've got the Abrade, now is the time. They could have Luminous Rebuke, but then I would still draw the card. Oh, they top-decked the Burst Lightning? Gross. Probably the best draw on their deck in reaction to our line, or in response to our line there. Pretty good draw. Kept the land with no 1, 2, or 3 drop. So there's got to be like a 3-mana removal spell at least or something in there. Maybe like a Banishing Light. I guess we'll find out soon enough. On our Light Shell duo. If they've got a Banishing Light, I expect it to die. Squad Rallier, sure. Let's actually go Fabulum Trick here. Kellen, you die to Seeker's Folly. I would have to play Seeker's Folly as a removal spell instead of a discard 2, turn it into a 1-for-1 instead of a 2-for-1, but I think that's worth it because Kellen can turn into a massive card draw engine. 3/2 double strike, draw a card every time it deals damage. Ooh, the Mischievous Mystic Strix Lookout combo. Okay, well, let's not kill Kellen yet then. Send in the squad. See if we get them to blow any removal here. Nope, not yet. Please do not kill Mystic. Level up Kellen is the play. If they level up again, they are like almost completely tapped out. So we could maybe just take the hit at that point. Because they can only play the card this turn. So it would have to be 2 mana or less. Yeah. No! They negotiated with my Mystic. Rude. Well, Seeker's Folly just got better, at least. Yep. There's the concession from our opponent. We are 2-1 heading into game 4. Alright, we're playing against a green deck now. This is a pretty slow hand. But I like the Refute Feybloom Trick combo, where if they play something good, I Refute. If they don't, I Feybloom Trick. This hand is way better on the play. Because Refute turn 3 on the draw, that is really slow. But took a bit of a gamble here. Not paying out super well. They are curving out. 2-drop into 3-drop. Got the 3-4 roadblock coming up eventually. Might have to think twice if I don't Refute here just to make it more likely to hit that land 4 and get that 3-4 out there. Okay, I will absolutely counter that though. And that is not a land. Might be a little greedy not to discard Meteor Golem here, but I'm gonna default to discarding the flashback spell. If I don't hit the land, I just flash it back anyway. Yeah, just flash it back. You know what? No, I'm actually gonna just Feybloom Trick here. But the play would be the same even if Think Twice is in our hand. I guess if Think Twice was in our hand, we'd be able to... Oh, Jesus Christ. They draw the next creature in their deck every time one of their creatures dies now. So I can't even try to do like a profitable double block here. Like I might still do it just to slow them down, but they are just immediately drawing another creature. Spinner of Souls is one of the highest win rate rares in the whole set. They draw Affectionate Indrik. They draw a 2-for-1 off of the 2-for-1. Pretty good. Okay, we did find land 4. We've officially slowed them down. Alright, we're gonna bake the spinner into a pie, but we'll wait till their turn so that there's a possibility they'll tap out of that 2 mana. Probably not. But yeah, they just eat the spinner, get a +1/+1 counter, but that's the exact same thing that happens if I do it during my turn. This way, if they wanted to play some kind of weird haste creature pre-combat, they might be tapped out of the sack, and we could actually get the food. Light Shell Duo Infestation Sage. I don't hate drawing into Meteor Golem here. I think I naturally will over time, and I kind of need more immediate impact at 11 life. It's probably dumb, but here we go. Alright, let's see if they have land 6. Yep. Fair enough. What else you got? A board wipe and a fight spell? Jeez. This is not a good position. That's for sure. But if we get rid of their last threat in their hand, then Plunderer plus a removal spell deals with their whole board. And then we just sit here and wait for them to cast the board wipe. Both of us just sandbagging extra creatures in our hand. Yeah, I'm gonna land away from Meteor Golem. Let's kill this ghoul. Okay. Would you like to board wipe a 1/1 that gives me a 1/1 when it dies? No, Macabre Waltz is the play. To cast their incredible bomb rare a second time. Wardens of the Cycle is the first play, which is also an insane card draw engine. That's very frustrating. Because I only get to kill one of the two, and they're both... Either one of them draws a card off the other dying. I guess this triggers at their end step, so we can kill the spider during our turn. That's going to be the play. I probably shouldn't have played Hungry Ghoul into the revealed Bushwhack. Now they just Bushwhack and draw a card in the end step. Because it's when any creature dies, not just one of theirs. Yeah, I should not have played Ghoul. Blue Splash. If I block, they draw another card, which is really bad. But looks like they don't need to draw any extra cards to draw super well. You got me. Genesis Wave for 4? For only 4 hits 3 creatures? That was disgusting. I mean, they Spinner of Souls twice, Genesis Waved. What are you gonna do? Made some misplays there for sure, but that was super, super powerful stuff happening on our opponent's board. We are 2-2 heading into Game 5. Game 5, start off with a Forced Mulligan. We definitely can't keep hand with like a double blue spell and only swamps, let alone 3 blue spells. Forced into a double mull here. There's only 1 castable spell in this 6-card hand. Got to start with a 5-card hand here, so we are very far behind right from the start. Have to draw pretty well to stay in this draft here. Opponent is off to a blisteringly fast start. Being on the play and having a mana dork on the play means they're going to be casting a 4-mana creature while I have 2 lands on the board. Okay, they don't have a 4-mana creature though, so they're just going to play their 3-drop. They don't have a 3-drop either. Alright. I mean, turn 2 Ruby was terrifying, but if they don't have the creatures to use with it, it doesn't really do much. Just pokes me for 1. Still gotta bake into a pie if I eat an alive Ruby here. So I'm going to do that. We know they don't have a 4-mana or a 3-mana creature, so this way they can't play their 5-mana creature this turn if that's what they have, and this just like really slows them down. Indeed it is. Oh, that's a 4-mana creature. Alright, well, we'll still kill that. Work our way. Oh my god, what a draw. Oh, that immediately basically unmulligans us. They had Vivian Bite Down? So now it's a top deck where we have a creature on board and a 6-drop in hand. That was the best time to possibly top deck a Seeker's Folly. Straight up, just what a draw. We're just working our way towards this Kraken. And there's the Cerberus. That is concerning. Oh, Feybloom Trick's really good against it. Land for the draw. There's our Kraken mana. Let's see if this Kraken will close out the game for us. It does. That is 3 and 2, finding a victory on the Multi-5. The Seeker's Folly top deck, genuinely just incredibly lucky and a super, super good draw. But I'm really happy with the decision to Eaten Alive the Ruby, because with the information we had, we knew they didn't have a 3 or a 4 mana creature. So if we just kill the Mana Dork, we know they're not playing anything next turn unless they top deck a 4 mana creature. So it's likely they have like 5 mana spells in their hand. So just keeping them off that, slowing them down, and then baking those into a pie later would play out fine, and it really did there. So here we are for game number 6 now. We're getting a 50-50 run of this deck at worst. The Lightshell Trio says hello, but they're all 4 mana spells. If our opponent's aggressive at all, we just die. I should just mulligan, but this is so funny that I'm just going to keep it. Lightshell Trio the deck. That's the most trio looking emote I've got. Good draw's good. We got a 2 mana play. If this hand had that ghoul in it, we definitely would have snap keeped, so. Already drew out of the awkward hand. I mean, I do need to draw 1 land, but 1 land by turn 4 seems reasonable. And there it is. This trade has to be better when they're tapped out. I'm just thinking, like, if they crack back at me, am I going to block and try to trade? The answer is yes. So the trade is just better if we try to do it while they're tapped out. Okay. There's a duo. Ooh. I'm probably going to draw both of these, but I'm just going to play another duo next turn, because I want to be able to double spell when I'm playing 2 mana spells, so I'll cast both of these in the same turn, 2 turns from now, so I don't think the order matters too much. I guess I could technically double spell with Mystic and Infestation Sage, so we'll draw Mystic first. Sure. The Truffle Snout spits out food every time it hits me. Oop. This is going to be pretty hard to race. Oh, no. Wow. This card seems insane. This might be my first time playing against it. Whenever it attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. You're going to be on the step if you attack, return a creature card mana value less than or equal to Alesha's power. So mana value less than or equal to 3. So we lose. So they attack, they get a +1/+1 counter and reanimate Truffle Snout next turn. Great. Oh, I need another swamp so bad, because then I could Sage and Eaten Alive. Mystic Eaten Alive sounds so terrible, but Alesha's just gonna, like, 20 for 1 us if I don't do this. We are so far behind in that exchange. And there's another 2-for-1. Get a 3/3, draw a card. Play Duo and Sage. Or have the double black for Pilfer and Gourmand. Yep. Sure, strike happens anywhere I block. There's the Goblin borders. Actually really not in a position to be attacking. I'm actually going to mill Gourmand, even with the Sage. Next turn I get to play a Death Toucher and Pilfer them. Main deck, Broken Wings. Pretty bad against our deck, but at least we pilfered something. I guess if we ever hit our Vampire Nighthawk, that'd be the answer to that. They're on blind draws right now, and the draw's another 4/3. We're on blind draws. The draw's a land, and that is lethal. 6 is the minimum damage we can take. 3 and 3 it is. Kind of a respectable run for this deck. We did not really get any gas, and multiple of our losses were against much stronger decks in terms of drafts where our opponents actually got rares out of the draft. Our opponent got to play 2 Spiders and a Genesis Wave on us. And then that opponent got to play Alesha on us for like the 3-for-1. Alesha reanimates something, and my removal was too expensive to where I had to 2-for-1 myself on the removal spell. So they actually got the Alesha 4-for-1 there. So 100% Alesha MVP in that last game. Just kind of getting demolished by rares with the rareless deck, which is about to be expected. But still got 3 and 3, still did a 50-50 run at least. But I would have liked to see it do a little bit better. 3 and 3 is definitely on the low end of my standards. So, yeah, not too much to say about the draft or the deck. It was a pretty straightforward draft. I don't think there was a particularly stronger spot that we could have been unless we were prophetic and knew exactly what rares we were going to open, because our first pack was incredibly weak. There was no direction we could have went to have really powerful rares or anything like that. And really, I think the second pack as well. I think we saw a bunch of really good like white rares stack up in pack 3. I think the only way we could have had maybe some stronger cards in the deck from the start would have been forcing one of the multicolored pairs. We saw some of those cards getting passed, but they just didn't look that open in the first place. Like going Boros or Gruul, we just weren't seeing good red spells individually. Like maybe nobody was playing red-white or red-green, but several players were playing like red-black or red-blue or something like that. So, I don't know. Very average, very mediocre draft today, but that is going to happen. Didn't even name the deck. That's how mid this draft was. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed watching and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.